check, check. We're good. Where did I get these? So these are an STL from Puppets War. Go over to my mini factory on their STL shop. They're a reference to the Marines, colonial Marines from Aliens. You can probably find them. There's a lot of people doing print on demand stuff right now. So if you go to like Etsy, sure you can find somebody to print these out if you really want to. Just depends on like what your needs are. I think if even if I didn't have a printer and I was getting into orcs, I would probably find some like more unique models online. Just because the old, like the current Ork Lootas are a very old model and they look like shit. Like the one roadblock that has consistently kept me from doing orc armies has been that like their older models look fucking awful. So I've always done like custom models and replacements. Decided to go on a little early today. I was just feeling a little bored, and I was working on these guys earlier, so I figured I'd just use the stream time to knock out a bunch of work on them. Alright, did our orc metal workup. It's gonna knock out a lot of painting that we don't have to do on these guys. And really all I'm gonna have to cut in is like, we're gonna do this sort of like green wash on the armor plates. And then we'll cut in the fatigues and the skin tones. That's most of the work done. The cool thing about this is that if I mess up, I could just take some water and wick it away. Kind of using this like orky metal rusty workup to be kind of like a pre-shade. Does a lot of work for us. Maintains the kind of like weathered vibe. Yo, thank you. Yeah, well, so ironically, the base coat for these guys is kind of a dark red brown. It's just that once the liquid pigment rust covers that up, you don't see a lot of it. But I mean, I use I use this red oxide as the primer. I'm still hot on the Monument Hobbies. Literally, the only reason I'm using the current brush in my hand is because somebody gave it to me years ago, and it was like a brand new brush sitting in a drawer when I needed one. I don't know. I've always kind of been of the mind that like your brushes are a perishable resource, and they're always going to have like a failure point. And so trying to keep the same set of brushes for like years and years is futile. And so I just get like some fairly good ones, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna last for like 6 months or so, and then I throw them out and get new ones. The only downside is that I'm not like on the pulse of the Monument Hobbies restocks, and like they sell out of the brushes as soon as they get them in stock. So like constantly, I'm like, okay, I need brushes. Then I go to their website and they're all sold out. Fuck. So I don't know, probably get some Amazon specials. Yeah, I saw the Gazgul and Stompa today. It's exciting. Kind of in a weird spot because I actually don't want the codex to come out until after the rules cut off for Challengers Cup. Because I don't want to have to like rapid pivot to a different list and like paint up a bunch of stuff last second, especially because we're like specifically our team, 8-man team, is specifically competing for best hobby. So I don't want to have to like be in a position where I'm struggling to hit a deadline. And if it ends up happening, it ends up happening. Like, is what it is. But I'd prefer to not have to worry about the new rules until after Challengers Cup. I don't know. Like the Stampa, I think is fine without stratagems. I think it's definitely elevated by the Dread Mob stratagems. I mean, like my list has is Dread Mob, but if I didn't have those stratagems, I'd be like, I'd still take it. It's about as close as you can get to an actual Titan that you can play in 40k. Um, I guess technically you can play the Warhound, but the Warhound like kind of sucks. So at the end of the day, it's still like a super tough 30 wound Chungus. Does anybody remember what color the uniforms are for the Colonial Marines? They like olive drab. I just think I was gonna like call an audible and do them like a mid-tone gray color. Kind of vaguely remember them being that color in the movie, but I could be wrong. What I'm doing right now is kind of the main reason that I think that these like one step paints and speed paints and contrast paints are like such a fucking dumb gimmick. Because if you appreciate a model, you can just take any acrylic paint and thin it out this thin and run it over the model, and it accomplishes exactly the same thing. And I didn't need to buy an entirely new line of paint to do it. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Like the one thing that I do think the speed paints are fine with is if a model is very busy. It's kind of like a sliding scale. Like the denser level of detail the model has, the better it'll look. But on stuff like Space Marines, fucking yeah, it looks like dog shit. It's like people dipping their Space Marine into a like Easter egg dye bath, and it's all stained up and shitty, and they're like, "Look at my battle ready guy." I'm like, okay, little buddy, sure. Didn't get these guys very good. Let's see, could I paint an army faster my way? Uh, Most assuredly. Part of my workflow involves airbrushing, which saves a ton of time. Just on the simple fact that like you're not using a spray can and waiting for that to dry, and um, and having to take everything outside, and wait for it to dry so the fumes go away, and like bring it back inside so it dries, which also cuts out any pitfalls of like humidity in the air messing your models up, which happens all the time with spray cans. In fact, my friend Next Level Painting, who's streaming right now, um, he made an entire video when contrast paints came out of like, I'm going to show you how long it takes to paint models like this way and how long it takes to paint models using contrast paints. And stopwatched every single little thing down to the second. And by the end of it, it was actually slightly faster for his way of doing things. And his model looked fucking dope. Like tournament level, battle ready plus, probably gonna get like a silver, gold on any tournament's paint rubric compared to the contrast paint. Because the other thing is that because of the contrast paint, like the way that it works, it's like basically all like medium, like paint medium. It's basically the same stuff as this flow improver that I use. It's just like a clear, like acrylic medium that makes your paint flow and be all slippery. And it's a drying retardant, so it slows down the drying process, so lets you airbrush smoother. And because that type of medium is in the contrast paints, it slips and slides over the model easier, but it takes longer to dry. So you're actually painting slower than you would if you were just using water and regular paint, which is like, that's where the counterintuitiveness of it comes out. And especially like with Games Workshop, other companies, like if they're gonna put out like a bottle of speed paint and like the regular paint is $4 and the speed paint is $4, then like, you know, whatever. People can buy what they want to buy. But the thing with GW is they're like, here's our speed paint for like $8.50, $9 a bottle. And I'm just like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like literal PT Barnum level scamming people because they know that people are too stupid to look the other way. Pava's UK, what is up, my dude? Seen you in forever. I think in general, Next Level Painting coming in with a raid. What is up, my dude? In general, just like having an airbrush as part of your workflow means that you are going to save way more time than painting with a hand brush, especially for a lot of things. Like if I'm working with a model, let's say like say for orcs, so I'm working on orcs right now. Like if I was painting like an orc war boss and he's all like shirtless, um, super yoked, you know, like big heroic, like flexi pose kind of stuff. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna sit there for 15 hours and hand paint his skin tones and blend it out and everything. I'm gonna fucking airbrush it. Takes 5 minutes, and he's got sick flesh tones. And like, sure, I might have to go back and do some highlights right at the very end, but like, for example, here's a model we worked on stream the other day. Like, I'm just gonna airbrush his skin, and it looks sick. It doesn't take any time at all. All right, I think that's good for that first step on all those guys. Let that get good and dry. I'm doing good, dude. Yeah, I was pretty sick last weekend, but I'm finally over it. I don't think they can get the margins they want. Um, oh, they had the hand flamer. I guess that technically counts. But that was just you were hooking it up to a uh like a spray can or whatever. Oh yeah. So like the thing with Games Workshop is they want to get like the cheapest, like bottom of the bin, dog shit level, whatever, and put their brand on it, and then sell that as a peripheral, so they can make like a 300-400% profit on it. Like their brushes are bad. Most of their paint is bad. Their tools, like their nippers and stuff, are terrible. All that shit. Like the one thing they never compromise on quality on is their models, which is dope. It's kind of like the reason they're in the position that they're in. But all their peripherals are just straight bad. Like don't even think about getting into them. Okay, what do I need to do next? Yeah, I was gonna look up. These guys are references to the Colonial Marines. I need to look up their uniform colors are. My money was on gray. It might also be if they're green. I might have to call an audible. Um, we got like some camo. We got like some khaki. They're kind of like ragtag a little bit. Uh, oh, here's some like official toys. So they got some camo. I'm not doing camo on these guys. Take forever. Uh, I'm great. There's like no definitive one because there's all these different sources, like the movie, the comic book, the games, toys. I guess in the movie they wore camo. Yeah, here's a screenshot of the movie. We'll just go with like a drab gray. Maybe mix a little brown into it. One of my favorite paints recently has just been this drab brown from Pro Acryl that came out either this past year or maybe the year before last for Adepticon. It slaps. Use it for so much shit. Yeah, so we'll just like combine some drab gray and neutral, drab brown and neutral gray. We'll do like a 50-50. It was a classic. Well, classic for me. This came out when I was a kid. Trying to find like some of the same type of military colors, but not just making them all drab green and then have green skin. You know, were they actually wearing Reeboks? No way. They weren't just wearing like surplus army boots. Or are you talking about the shoes that Ripley wore? One downside of doing this like orc metal over the whole model is that it's a little tricky to see what's like bootstraps and pants folds and all that. They're all like jacked and sleeveless. Easy peasy. Let's get this out even more. Means and Reeboks. Huh, I guess like I never really noticed their feet. I don't know. What does it say about you, Gravity's Theory? Are you like a foot guy or something? Well, no, they're still around. The tennis shoes that I wear all the time are Reeboks. I'm a big Reeboks fan. In fact, mine are like I have three pairs. They're all like retros, like retro Reebok high tops. Oh, okay. So the blousing does go all the way around the front. Okay. Not on that one. Probably have to do like some highlighting on those knee pads to make sure that they look different enough. This guy's got like a chin strap, which I will not worry about right now, because that'll make my life harder painting his face. I should have looked that up when. Let's see. Let's check the pictures. Let's see. It's from the video game. So the video game concepts, they are wearing like military boots. Let's see if I can find in the official toys. They're wearing like Vietnam jungle boots. Let's see. Here's another toy where those don't look like Reeboks. Those look like military boots. I need to find like an actual screen grab that shows it. It's not on like the front page. You know what? I'm just gonna paint this whole fucking thing and repaint the knee pads later. That's probably the easiest way of doing it. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, like I feel like I would have remembered if I saw them like running around in white, like white Reebok high tops. Uh, uh, oh, and this guy's got like one of those little caps that I do need to paint this color. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, okay. So it was like an actual like boot, not like a tennis shoe. Aliens Dark Descent. Is that like the first person horror game? I played the Aliens Colonial Marines, that like the third person like arcade shooter that came out a couple years ago. That game was super fun. Oh, top down RTS, nah. I think like other than Command and Conquer back in the day, like Red Alert 2 and like Dawn of War and StarCraft, I've never gotten into like RTSs. Enough. Blackjack, what are you doing, man? Blackjack, Blackjack, what are you doing? What are you messing with? Oh, okay. I think I may have seen a video about the game you're talking about. I don't know if it's my speed, but I'll give it a look on Steam, see if I'm interested in it or not. I've actually been playing a lot of Helldivers 2. They came out with the 40k crossover weapons and this absolute Giga Chad released a total conversion mod where it adds orcs into the game. Like total, it's a little jank right now because it just got released. But in terms of like the level of quality and polish, I'm like this could be borderline considered like paid DLC level of quality that this guy created. It's really impressive. Um, and so I've been playing that the past couple of nights. Very very cool. Okay, Mr. DJ, we were having some cool vibes. Ruining it a little bit. Gonna have to like tell him to change this subject. I've never listened to music like this. Why would you? No,
All right, let me switch it. I got some indie music for you here. Buffalo Traffic Jam up
I
first.
don't want indie music.
All right, no problem. Let's try a chill vibe here. Cameron Whitcomb up first. Regret the letters sent, the poems wrote, the sober notes, the flights I bought from coast to coast, the codependent overdose. I opened up my heart to you. I
Oh, it was
realized
called
I
Fire
was
Team,
lost.
right?
I
Aliens
lost
Fire
my
Team. That's
love
the
for
arcade
music,
shooter.
lost my humor.
Yeah.
I was lost in
Speaking of, the sequel to that is coming out soon.
the overwhelming ignorance.
It might even be this month.
My home to you, you had my mother's heart, and now she keeps on asking why I tore you both apart. And I burn it all, gasoline and matches, our photographs and ashes. And I blame it all on what I thought was magic, through rose-colored glasses. Anything I can, I throw it all away. But all that remains are the memories we made. I wish I could take you back, the hours spent in planes and cabs, the dollars that I should have saved. Instead I gave you all I had, was never about that money though. The cash will come and go, but now my pocket's empty and my heart is feeling broke. And I burn it all, gasoline and matches, our photographs and ashes. And I blame it all on what I thought was magic, through rose-colored glasses. Anything I can, I throw it all away. But all that remains are the memories we made. All the memories we made. It's my fault, my own damn problem. I thought I was worth her love. Caught off guard, she second guessed it. Now I live to just forget. It's my fault, my own damn problem. I thought I was worth her loving. Caught off guard, she second guessed it. Now I live to just forget it. I burn it all, gasoline and matches, our photographs and ashes. And I blame it all on what I thought was magic, through rose-colored glasses. Anything I can, I throw it all away.
More of these.
On the memories we made, all the memories we made. Tap A to a T does wonders for my scattered brain. And it's such a relief when I'm fine, means I'm fine, and it ain't just a mind game. You're hard on yourself, only see imperfections,
Oh,
darling, even mirrors.
well, parent support. Dingleberry.
Eyes, let me change your perspective, show you every reason why. I fell in love with the firstborn daughter, fresh taste of watermelon in the summer. She loves speaking her mind, puts her love on the line. No, she ain't the kind to make me wonder about how my life would look without her. Once I found her, won't
After this, we'll do our base coat of skin. And really, it's just going around and getting like little final stuff, like straps and creating some color separation in different areas. And then for these guys, I can do a pretty like full-bodied, all-over wash to tie everything in, hide the crimes. Well, thanks for the sub. And the good thing about these guys is they can also pull double duty as flash gets. I'll have to use some base extenders, but it's easy enough. Thanks for that follow. Yeah, I'll be using movement trays like these anyways, just for the majority of the army. Put some like magnetized material in there. So all I have to do is just get like a couple of cloud trays with 40 size. Titus is a total Boy Scout. I don't know, dude. Titus seems like he kind of does his own thing. It's kind of a cowboy compared to other Ultramarines. I mean, I don't know. I'd say like if he was kind of like your bog standard Ultramarine character, then I could see that being a little boring. But like Titus's whole thing is that he's like I gonna do my own thing. He's kind of a loose cannon to the point where he like was suspected of heresy and got sent off to like the Death Watch for penance. So I mean, like I'm not really sure where. Wow. God forbid that our hero escapism might have a little bit of specialness to it. I don't know, man. I don't really get the like that specific trope when it comes to Titus, considering that he's like centuries old and has gone through a ridiculous amount of training as an Astartes and fought in countless wars and all that kind of stuff. I feel like his badassery is very owned, like very earned. I don't think he's a Mary Sue. I mean, like I'm not like quite sure what you're getting at, like because the whole like concept of a Mary Sue, right, is that they're sort of like good at everything without trying. That they have all this like special stuff about them without earning it. But I mean, like every single Space Marine goes through almost a full human lifetime of training before they're even like a fully fledged Space Marine. You know, like they spend all this time during like their initial transformation, and then in the Scouts, like in the 10th Company. And so, like, if I see Marnius Calgar like aura farming off the nose of a Thunderhawk and punching the heads off of giant robots, then I'm like, yeah, that checks out. Like, Marnius Calgar is a gangster. Yeah, dude, she was fucking tight. You can't like look me in the eye and be like Marnius Calgar out the nose of a Thunderhawk, just laying it down, killing demons left and right, and then like by sheer force of will is like, oh, sorry, greater demon, your powers don't work on me. Like I'm fucking Marnius Calgar, dude. All right, get that done. Pull out like 3 different greens. It's kind of what I've been doing. Is going between camo green, regular green, and a more yellow green color for their skin. And then we've got 10 guys, so we're gonna have to like double up on one color, which would probably just be the regular green. So I'm gonna put them into some little groups. There we go. I think what they were trying to show in the game was that Marnius Calgar has like the Iron Halo built into his armor, and like that's what was letting him do that. I know it doesn't translate directly to tabletop rules, but I think they made a point of adding a special effect to that piece of his armor during that scene to like convey what was happening. Otherwise, yeah, it's a little like it's a little preposterous. think these models would be so much easier to paint in subassembly, but
That's Garda Butil, you're getting it just right.
just
Right now, we got High June kicking off some rock.
on that topic. Just trying to get like all my work stuff that I plan on using to be like kind of assembled so that if I need to get reps before the tournament, I could actually put it on the table. That's why I wanted everything on bases. Uh, yeah, so there are. Not too much skin on these boys. It's just like their arms and their heads. Yeah, still a little rough, but they're starting to look like models. Starting to look like Warhammer dudes. Oh, those are just wraps. Okay. Cool. Cool. So a little bit. Little batch painting. It's like the one thing about painting that I hate. Yeah, you paint stuff in batches. Like I'm painting 10 guys right now, so you're like, okay, paint all the pants. Now I paint all the shoes. Now I paint all the guns. It's like monotonous and boring. Whereas if you're just working on one guy, like you're working on a cool hero, you're like those are more fun. It's like assembly line painting is another way of describing it. I'm just not a fan. It's that. Let's see if I can sneak in here. Very cool. Yeah, dude, batch painting is the worst. I fucking hate that shit. I mean, like, yeah, like I have my workflow. Um, it's the process of actually sitting and doing it is what I hate. There's some stuff I don't mind. Um, like when I get to a point where all you're doing is kind of just going around and doing little final touches, doing little like cool things at the very end, uh, that's fine. It's just steps like this is what I hate, and I think it's mostly just because it's boring. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I really like the feeling of when you're sort of in the creative flow state. Um, that's my favorite part of painting. When I'm doing cool shit with the airbrush or like thinking of interesting effects and all that kind of stuff, and not like, oh boy, I'm gonna paint the fucking belt pouches on 65 guardsmen. Mm-hmm. Fun. All right, got those guys done. camo green. And I'm just gonna snag some of our regular green too and like mix that in so it's not like exactly camo green, just be close. Just you want it to be different than regular green. This paint job on these guys too, it kind of makes me think that there is a world where like orange skinned orcs could look really cool. Some interesting contrasting colors you could work with. So if you wanted to do orcs but not have green skins, you could do orange. Could be interesting. I'm not super deep into the orc lore, but I know they have uh, their whole like belief in different colors doing stuff. Is there like a yellow or an orange? There's like purple is sneaky, blue is good luck, and red goes faster, right? Just started the hobby today. Any advice? I mean, if you just started, I think the best advice I can give you is to just be a sponge. Absorb everything you can. Um, learn to have fun with it. You know, like I'm sitting here kind of bitching about having to batch paint, but like I still enjoy painting. You know, you got to learn how to have fun with even the stuff that's kind of boring. Um, be a sponge so that you can keep an open mind and learn as much as you can. Um, what else? Don't don't get like entrenched with like certain techniques or certain brands or anything like that. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, you should try this technique," like give it a try, or um, and don't be afraid of painting your models. I think we talked about this the other day, but like never ever be afraid to put paint on a model. Um, these paints, these water-based paints, they can't hurt your models. There is no way that a water-based paint is going to hurt your model in any way, shape, or form. It cannot hurt your model. If you mess up, if you get to a point where you're like, okay, I have will and it fucked this, so I need to start over. Um, you can literally just like put it in a Tupperware of hot water and a simple like floor cleaner, like Simple Green, and the paint will lift right off the model overnight with like a little bit of brushing from an old toothbrush. You can strip your models and just start over. Um, I think it's really sad when I see people have decision paralysis for these models they've spent all this money on, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to mess them up." And it's like, dog, if you never learn how to fall over on your bicycle, you're never gonna learn how to ride your bicycle, dude. It's part of learning. You gotta fall over sometimes. Yeah, see, like I just messed up right there. Just wipe it right off. I remember watching a video years and years and years ago. A really smart dude. His name's Adam. He has this channel called Tabletop Minions, he does a lot of sort of like hobby philosophy type stuff, and he was talking about how we live in a world now where there's so much information, there's so much knowledge that you have at your fingertips at all times, and all you have to do is like search it out and watch it. And in our community, there's this trend of people that will just like endlessly absorb this information, right? Like they'll just watch and watch and watch, and they're like, "Oh, have you seen this creator? And have you seen this creator? And you've seen this creator?" Um, but they never apply that knowledge because they have decision paralysis, or and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to like mess up my models," or like, "Oh, I don't want to get an airbrush. It seems like really complicated and all that." And it's like, if you never like take the information that you're absorbing or the content that you're watching and like try to apply that and build the skills over time by practicing, then like you're never gonna get anywhere. So it's like a huge waste of your time. Yeah, and like that's fine, Captain Banner. I have a couple of models from when I was a kid still, that I look at. Uh, I just mean like as far as painting your models and stuff, like we're spending a premium on this, and we're investing a premium of our time, you know, into this. That wasting time because of you're like scared that your paints are going to hurt your models is just silly. And to the point of what I was talking about earlier, with like the speed paints being a scam because you actually don't paint faster, you paint slower because of dry times. Um, you're trading your time for nothing. You're wasting your time, and your your time is your most valuable resource. I'm sure you've heard Kenny talk about it. Um, time time is like the one resource in your life you'll never ever be able to get back or get more of. Our time is our time, and like wasting that time on dumb shit is unacceptable in my opinion. And so that's why I was talking about earlier. It's like, why would I waste my fucking time with contrast paints and speed paints when they take longer to dry than regular paint thinned out with water? And I can do the same shit with regular paint that I can with speed paints just by thinning it out. Like, what a crime. Just wasting your hours like that. Yeah, dude. Sick, got those three knocked out. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I'd say in like a broader category, don't get suckered by like gimmicks. Like speed paints, contrast paints, all that stuff. It's a gimmick. Um, and I mean, like I have some. I have like paint markers and stuff. Like these acrylic paint markers. They have their uses, but um, like they're not a wonder machine that's gonna do everything for you like magic. these three guys are going to be kind of a yellow-green color. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't have to go super crazy hard out the gate. Um, but definitely, like, put put paint on models. I'd say another big thing is never compare your work to others. You can draw inspiration from people for sure, but never compare your work to others because down that road lies disappointment and feelings of like inadequacy. It's like, you'll see me painting here on Twitch and you'd be like, I'll never be able to paint like that guy. I'm like, no, yeah, you totally can. I'm not doing anything special. The only difference is that I've been doing this for a long time. And like I don't compare my stuff to other people's stuff. Um, Not because they might necessarily be a better painter than me, which I think is a little bit of a preposterous statement in and of itself, but the goals that people have or what they're doing with their hobby time are different, you know? Um, a lot of these painters that you see doing content creation online, like their goal is to be a popular content creator. So like they're going to be doing things that uh, leads towards that goal. They're going to be like, oh, okay, so my goal is to uh, win painting competitions. So like they're going to work towards that goal, which might sound slightly hypocritical considering that I'm streaming here on Twitch. But my goal is to not be the biggest Twitch streamer. My goal is to have a good time and maybe teach people something along the way. Um, and when I paint, my goal is not to like win Golden Demon or whatever like that. My goal is to have a really cool looking army at a tournament because I play the game. I go to social events. Um, so like I'm not going to invest as much time into each individual model as those types of painters would. Those types of painters don't even paint armies. They paint like the same model for 3 months, and it's just like one little guy. Whereas like I've got to paint an entire army, uh, sometimes in only the space of a couple of weeks, and it has to look dope because I want to win painting awards at the tournament. A little too thin on his back. Just add a teensy bit more. So rusty colors acts as a pretty good pre-shade sometimes. But this yellow green is the thinnest of all these greens. So I was kind of assuming that I was going to have to go back and do a second, like, quick pass of all of these colors on these guys just to, make sure there's no like sloppy areas. Army composition is almost never a factor for best painted. I mean, unless like uh, the best painted award is at some like one-off GT with like a very specific personality type person that's judging it, and they're just going like off their own opinions, like there's no rubric or anything like that, and like maybe they're just like, oh, I hate this, but like this. I don't know. Sometimes it's like that, but like for example, if you go to a Green Banner event or a FLG event, like the big promotions, they're going off of rubrics, and it's mostly effort based, mostly about effort and consistency rather than like pure skill and talent. But pure skill and talent will get you a lot farther. So like it's possible, like at a Green Banner event, it's possible to get a gold coin um, by following the rubric and being like consistent across your whole army, but never ever win best painted because like you're just not at the same level as the guy who is winning best painted. And there's little things like cool factor, display boards, different things like that. But I mean, like having something like a set piece model, having your Rabute Gilliman or your Gazgul or your Magnus or whatever that look really sick. Those definitely help. That's going to sway some opinion. But as far as like overall army composition, like nah, that has nothing to do with it. The award is who has the tightest army in the room, not who's a fluff bunny that's also good at painting. Okay, cool. Boom. Skin's knocked out. No. Unless like the only reason it would matter is if I have like knights, right? Let's say I have knights and you have Gene Stealer Colt. So you have like a billion models. I have like 5 models. Is the overall presentation and display of skill higher for your army or for my army? That's the question people ask when they're judging off of these rubrics. So like certainly it's more difficult for you because you have to maintain that level of consistency over 100 models, and I only have to maintain it over 5. But if my 5 models are way doper painted than your 100 models, then like I deserve to win. And vice versa. If your Gene Stealer Cult army is painted better than my army, you deserve to win. Discord link commit? I think it's below the video. And there's like an embedded link where you can just join along with Discord. Yeah, I think I do need to do like a quick second pass. So give this quick more second to try it a little bit more. Start back with our first set of tunes. Right, put my finger forward. Just going quick fast on these guys, looking for thin spots. Kind of like right here. See some of that previous dry brushing showing through. Don't want to like flood the surface. Just want to do some quick passes where I think they need them.
Lots rolling wheels and shifting gears round that Jersey turnpike. Barney stopped me with his gun 10 minutes after midnight. Said, sir, you broke the limit in this rusty old truck. I don't know about that accent, son. Just where did you come from? I said, where I come from is cornbread and chicken. Where I come from, a lot of front porch sitting. Where I come from, trying to make a living and working hard to get to heaven. Where I come from.
Thankfully, the undercoat of orange isn't too hard to cover for this green.
I'll be honest with you, ma'am, it ain't like mama fixed it. 'Cause where I come from, it's cornbread and chicken. Where I come from, a lot of front porch picking. Where I come from, trying to make a living and working hard to get to heaven. Where I come from.
You know what I probably do too is once this is all dry, just take a pass with my super tiny dry brush. I can probably just dry brush all the details in this skin really easy and call it done.
This tall lady stopped and asked if I had plans for dinner. Said no thanks, ma'am. Back home we like to
I
grill
have to do a little bit of cleanup, but
Cause where I come
it's
from,
not a super big deal.
bread and chicken. Where I come from, a lot of front porch sitting. Where I come from, trying to make a living and working hard to get to heaven. Where I come from.
I think after this step is when I'm gonna call it for the evening, however. Like a good stopping spot. Let all this paint get nice and happy, and dry overnight.
I was heading home on 65 somewhere around Kentucky when the CB rang for the bobtail rig. It's rolling on like thunder. Well, I answered him and he asked me, aren't you from out in Tulsa? No, but you might have seen me there. Just dropped a load of salsa. Where I come from, it's cornbread and chicken. Where I come from, a lot of front porch
bit more of our camo green, a little lighter this time. Just don't want the skin to feel too close to the green armor.
I sure do hope this is a long night, 'cause I've never felt one so right. Each look into your eyes and falling
Easy.
a little more and more.
Paint some works.
Looks like we started us a fire, wrapped up in flames of desire. With every touch they're burning higher, two shadows dancing on the wall, with nothing on but the radio. Feel the music playing soft and slow. You and me and the lights down low, with nothing on but the radio. We'll fall asleep here in the moonlight, entangled sheets will be here all night. And when we wake up in the morning, we might stay like this all day. Two people meant to be together, two lovers dreaming of forever, and it just keeps on getting better, with every tender little kiss and nothing on but the radio. Feel the music playing soft and slow. You and me and the
I think our green, or yellow green, I mean, is still active. Keep using that same one.
two people meant to be together, two lovers dreaming of forever, and it just keeps on getting better, with nothing on but the radio. Feel the music playing soft and slow. You and me and the lights down low, with nothing on but the radio. You and me and the lights down low, with nothing on but the radio. A little bit of guitar, a little bit of truck, a little bit of hound dog,
Last dude.
a little bit of bacon, a little bit of beans, a little bit of you loving up on me, a little bit of how it's supposed to be, a little bit of life, a little bit of backseat, a little bit of moon, a little bit of radio, going boom, 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 a little bit of sugar, a little bit of spice, a little bit of nasty, a little bit of nice, a little bit of how it's supposed to be, a little bit of life. I breathe in, I breathe out, yeah, sleeping all night with the windows down, up in the mornings, turn around, drink a pot of coffee and I head off to town. Work, work, work all day long, crank it up, back it up, bring it on home. Supper on the table and I eat me a bite, then we snuggle on the porch by the pale moonlight. A little bit of me and you doing all right. A little bit of life.
All right.
A little bit of tractor, a little bit of farm, a little bit of cornfield, and a little bit
Sick. All right. That's a lot of work. an hour and a half. 10 boys looking good. Starting to look like some orcs. I'm probably gonna have to work on these guys in between streams. Like we're sort of to that point now, where I think I've only got like 3 or 4 weeks left. Yeah. Before Challengers Cup, so I'm gonna keep chugging through stuff on my own time. But we've still got like a handful of really cool models off to the side, like our mechs and some named characters. And then I also have some eBay Rescue Commandos I need to paint at some point, so that would be a good stream. Might pull them out on Tuesday, do that. But it is time for me to get out of here, eat some din-dins, have a nice evening. So let's find somebody to raid. Got Wicked Minis. Useless Wizard again. I think we raided him last time. Let's raid Wicked Minis this time. Start this up. Yep. Alright. I'll be back on Tuesday at our normal time. Hope you all have a nice weekend and all that good stuff. We'll get on out of here.